This is McFly Angler.
Starts now.
For a hook, you will need a long shank, strong saltwater hook like these Gamakatsu SL11s, and today I'm tying it in a size 2. Place the hook securely in your vise. For thread, I really like this Vivus 140 power thread, and today I'm using brown. Start your thread right behind the hook eye and snip or snap off the waist. Then build a bit of a thread bump to lay the dumbbell eyes on. End with your thread about a hook eye length from the eye of the hook. For dumbbells, you can use bead chain, brass, or lead. Today I'm using gold medium-sized brass dumbbells. The size of the dumbbell will be determined on the size of your hook, but this size works perfect for this size 2 hook. Then place the dumbbell eyes on top of your hook shank and tie down tight with X-wraps and under wraps. Now bring your thread back to the bend of the hook and back up a little to the start of the hook bend. To make this fly a bit extra, I like adding an orange grizzly chickabou feather. Pull out one feather from the patch and stroke the fibers down like so. Now tie this in so it extends about a hook gap off the back of the hook, and then tie down into the bend a few wraps so it's angled downward. Cut off the waist section of the feather and then clean up the tie-in with a few wraps. Now we need some craft fur, and make sure it's the extra select stuff. And this tan color works great. To cut craft fur from the swatch, run your scissors under the fiber and pull it out. Then snip off about this much of the fur. You will want to remove the underfur and short fibers by pinching halfway up the clump, and then stroking out the fibers underneath. Measure out about 2 to 3 times the hook shank length, and then tie it in with a couple tight wraps. Tie into the bend a little, to just shy of the feather tie-in point. Then clip off the waist and clean up the tie-in with some tight wraps. Now we need to bar the tail. I got these markers from Risen Fly. They are alcohol based, so they won't wash out with water. I am using the orange-brown color for this fly. What's nice is these come with a fine tip and a chisel tip, which is nice for marking up flies. We will be using the fine tip for the next step here. Make bars on the craft fur tail, trying to make them even. Actually, I like making them a little further apart as I go up the tail like this. But mark it how you want. After all, it is your fly. Okay, now we need some rubber legs, and I like silicone legs for this fly. They come in a wide variety of colors, but generally for this fly, an orange or brown works best. You can even get silicone skirts made for bass jigs that give a lot of material for a low cost. Anyway, today I'm using the root beer with orange tipped ones. Pull off one strand, fold it in half, and align the section where the orange starts. Measure out the legs so where the orange starts, it extends back into the tail about a half a hook shank length. Tie in with a couple tight wraps, right up to the start of the tail. And then snip off the waist. Now we need some soft hackle. I really like this soft hackle with chickabou pelt from Whiting. Pull off one feather from further down into the pelt so it's a little larger. Then clean up the feather for tie-in by stripping off all the fuzzy fibers at the base of the feather. Now pinch the tip of the feather and stroke down the fibers below it. You want about 1 inch of usable feather material here. Then cut off the tip of the feather to make a smaller tie-in tag. Now tie it in right up to the base of the tail, and then bring your thread up a few wraps. I really like these type of hackle pliers for this application. Grab the feather stem with the pliers and then proceed to make touching wraps with the feather around the hook while stroking the fibers rearward with each wrap. Now this can be tricky with the thread blocking here, so you can wind the thread up a ways to get it out of the way. When you finish wrapping the hackle, then bring your thread back down to the feather and tie in the stem. If you do this right, you can pull the stem rearward, tie it down tight, and just rip the stem off. Pull back all the fibers and wrap back into them, up on top of the feather a bit to make sure it's secure. Now we need some fiber. EP fiber, or this better priced version from Fly Tyer's Dungeon called Water Silk, works great. I like to vary up the colors a bit, so I use a brown and a tan color. This company calls these colors Pheasant Tail and Gold Sand. Pull off a pencil width section of each color. Snip it off at the hank, and then cut it in half, and then half again to make 4 pieces. Obviously, do the same thing with the brown as well. Lay 1 piece of fiber on top of the hook shank and make X wraps over it. To make sure this lays properly, pull it back and forth, and then close up to the hackle collar. Then pull back the fiber, pull tight on the thread, and make some very tight wraps up into the fiber. And this will tighten up the thread around the fiber and lock it in solid without the need for glues or cements to hold it into place. Now do the same thing with the next color to give an alternating pattern here. Keep alternating the colors of fiber, making sure to pull them back and forth after tying them in with X wraps, and try to push them up close to the last section of fiber. Also, try to get one section of fiber pressed up close against the dumbbell eyes, like this. Then advance your thread to past the dumbbell eyes. As you can see, you're left with this. A bit messy, yes, but we'll trim it to shape. Now you can whip finish your fly. Take the fly out of the vise and we will start trimming it. By the way, I think it's important to note here, I use 2 types of scissors for this fly. The razor scissors for the tying portion and finer cuts, and it's got a 4-inch blade. And for some longer cuts, I like these 5-inch hair scissors. Both of these are made by Risen Fly, and I highly recommend them, but many manufacturers make similar sizes for scissors. Okay, now let's trim. Start by stroking the fibers outward like so, then grab a pair of long scissors, and in this case I'm using those hair scissors, and make an angle cut from the dumbbells up to the top of the fiber like so. Turn the fly around and make a similar cut on the other side and try to make them both even. Make sure, by the way, to get the rubber legs and other materials out of the way so you don't cut them off. Pull out the fiber at the base and then make an angle cut into it like this to make a more rounded off section. Do the same thing on the other side. So when doing this, you're left with some points on the side. Now you could fish it like this, but I like rounding these off by cutting those points. Cut slowly here, as you can always take more off, but you can't put more back on after cutting it. Okay, now I like to start shaping the body a bit more on the top and the bottom section. As you can see, this fiber is a bit bushy and sticks up off the bottom and the top. So let's trim this so it's more flat on the bottom. Keep looking at it and make small cuts to get both sides even, but don't overdo the cutting, because believe me, you could go overboard and very easily end up with absolutely no body on this fly. Okay, there we go. I am happy with that. Now for the final step. I like to cement the whip finish and dumbbells. This Solarez Ultra Thin UV resin works great with its paintbrush applicator. Paint some over the whip finish and dumbbell eyes, then cure it with your UV light. I like to add a second coat as well, and down into the thread along the hook shaft. This will ensure that no fish teeth will tear this fly apart. And there we have it, the finished Kwan fly. This fly works wonders on a large variety of saltwater fish like redfish, speckled trout, and much more. Let me know in the comments section how this fly has performed for you in the past. As you all know, I have gotten you all discounts from both www.risenfly.com and www.dooliesflyfishing.com. Doolies offers great prices on all of the name brand fly tying materials, and Risen Fly manufactures their own hooks, rods, reels, and other gear for fly fishing. Their products are top quality, and best of all, they are priced very reasonably. Not only are the prices at these 2 shops great, but like I said, they are offering all of my subscribers a discount. So use McFly at checkout when ordering from either of these shops, and you will get an additional 15% off of their already great prices. I want to also thank all of my Patreons who support me. For as little as $1 a month, you can help support this channel and also get some great perks like early access to my videos, participate in live streams, and more. So go to www.patreon.com/McFlyAngler to sign up today. I also thank all of you who share all my videos with your friends and your continued support by hitting the like buttons and subscribing. Thank you for making these videos possible. I will see you on the next video. Now you go catch some fish.